I can never get that shit
You got it right. Seems like you got it right this time.
It's Vera J. Michelle. The different aesthetic in the background.
Something new.
Something new. Here with Jack Juan.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk to you a little bit about, I'm going to talk to Jack Juan about apparel, merchandise, things that you can use as an additional form of income and another way to engage your audience and gain a fan base. So stay tuned.
Indeed.
So you have apparel, right? You have merchandise right now.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about your merchandise.
So for this past couple of, I'll call them series, we've been working on long sleeve T-shirts. So that's been my thing for the past couple of rounds. I've been working on what I like to think of as like a classic feel for a T-shirt. I feel like every brand has like a classic like T-shirt that you know like this is their tee, you know, whether it be like a Supreme or a Gucci or you know Louis Vuitton or whatever. They have their print that you know kind of makes it a classic tee from them. So I wanted to work on that for myself. And so that's really what I've been working on so far. This next wave that I'm doing actually involves some different colors. I actually first only started off with just straight black.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved on to white and black. So now I got white long sleeves and black long sleeves. But I'm actually moving on to something a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be adding some accessories as well. And that's just to kind of stick with the minimalism of it.
Okay. So when it comes to identifying your brand, right, having a good brand identity is first. Like you as an artist, right, you knew, okay, I want shirts, but I want them to be very minimal,
right,
but very recognizable to Jack Juan XX, right? So what did you have to do to come up with that, your logo, the XX? How did you come up with the look and the feel of it?
Well, I actually worked with a graphic designer to come up with my logo. So, you know, he came up with a bunch of different ideas, and I really liked that one, and that's what I chose. But that was a while back. As far as like actual T-shirt designs, that was something that I did on my own. I just came up with a lot of different sketches, and from those sketches, we worked out, you know, what we felt would be most impactful for samples. And so our first round was just a lot of samples, and then the next time it was like, okay, let's kind of branch off and make it a little bit more versatile, but still keep it classic. And that's how we went into the white and the black tees. But that's kind of how we came up, or how I came up with the concept for the T-shirt. It was just a lot of sketching. It was I had like a ton of different ideas, and I just narrowed it down to, you know, using the budget that we have, knowing the market that we have. How can we branch off and do something different but still remain classic and impactful? And so I just went with the white and black, and it did pretty well.
Oh. I have one. You know, got me. Well, I don't got it on right now, but I have one.
Right.
The white one.
My For the Culture. I'm in my For the Culture today.
Yeah, but that's another good example with For the Culture.
Yeah.
What they have their hats, they have hoodies, they have T-shirts.
Yeah.
And it's very simplistic, minimal. Of course, when you're...
I got a compliment on this T-shirt today.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a dope.
Yeah.
It has their logo on there. It's nice, big, centered. When it comes to making merchandise, you want to do it right. You don't want to just slap a logo or just slap something on a T-shirt and think that people are going to buy it. There has to be a lot of thought that goes into it. There has to be a certain level of quality that goes into it, that people will actually like look at it and say, man, I would for real wear something like that.
Right, yeah.
You know, so you have to really do a lot of research.
Yeah.
And did you like look at anybody, like artist-wise, right, who you might be similar to as far as your brand, your music, your style, or that you admire? Did you look at any of their merchandise that they might have and got ideas from that too?
Well, I wanted to do something similar to, and it's crazy because they honestly weren't one of my inspirations, but now that I think about it, it's very, my campaign is very similar to Odd Future.
Future,
you know,
okay.
Odd Future. Odd Future, Wolfgang Killed 'Em All. You know, Tyler the Creator.
Yeah.
They actually used their apparel. You know, the apparel that was associated with their group and with their music to create a fashion, to create an actual apparel movement, as opposed to just
merch.
As opposed to just merch. Like, oh, I got a song out, now my song is hot, or now my album is hot, buy this t-shirt, or you come to my concert, buy this t-shirt. They literally created a wave to where, regardless of if anybody's making music, if anybody's doing anything, you know, there's a season of this apparel. This apparel has a style, this apparel has a market, and they were able to really build up a crazy fan base just based off of the way that their apparel looked.
Right.
You feel what I mean? And people wanting to really be a part of that. And so, like I said, it wasn't really based on them or anything like that, but when I think about it, you know, that is the template that I want. I wanted to be able to take what would normally just be a band tee, which would normally just be like some like artist merchandise, and turn it into something where that people look at as more than just a band tee, something that people look at as a real brand, as people that people will really wear. You know, I want it to be that people will see my shirt and they could see it in a store or something like that, and have no association with, you know, my music or my person as a brand. You know, my identity as an artist. I wanted the XX brand to be something that could stand alone. Okay. And it's done pretty well so far with that.
Yeah.
And
minimalism is important, and you just have to think about the quality of things before you go to. Let me just take this real quick and slap it on here. You have to do your research, kind of see what works, understand your targeted demographic. Who's your audience? Who are you selling to?
Who's going to buy this?
Right. And what do they like? What trends are in for these types of people? What do these people typically spend their money on when it comes to fashion and brands and shirts and things like that? So all that should be taken into account. And I think there's a lot of people who've done. You yourself, Creative Angel's another one. Old Town Marco, he uses like the rose as something that's connected to him. There's a few people around that have some merchandise, and that has been, you could use it, of course, if you want to support that artist, but their stuff actually looks like, I would wear that though, for real.
Right.
Like, it looks good. So So what would you say top 3 things when it comes if I'm an artist and I come to you and I say, yo, Jack, I want some merch. What are 3 things you would say that they should do to help them get started with getting their merchandise together?
I would say the first thing is, you know, get a design in your mind that you're comfortable with, you know, something that, because in my mind, you know, the process of creating apparel and really sticking with the brand, like, that takes a while. It takes a while to develop. Even though, you know, maybe making a t-shirt doesn't take that long, really getting comfortable with the brand that you're going to push, and getting a good understanding of your brand's integrity and where your brand is going to go from just that t-shirt, sometimes that takes time. So, like, I would first tell them, you know, come up with a design that you're comfortable with, you know, and then I would tell them to look into even before production. I would say look into marketing, think about, you know, what your product means, and, you know, who your target demographic is going to be, who's going to be receptive to it, and what they're going to be receptive to. Because once you come up with those 2 things, coming up with a product and producing a product is kind of you know, that's a mute point. Like, literally, if you got people who want it, you can create, just like I think Travis Scott, I think Trippie Redd did this as well, where you go on their website and it's like digital versions of the work that they or the apparel that you want to purchase. Right. So when you click it, it's like, it's not, they may or may not already have those things printed up, but you have the want for it, you have the need for it, the demand. Right. And so, you know, if you you know, create that vision, you know, the design of the apparel, the marketing of you know, the actual feel, and then you go into production and how you're going to actually get it made, like what kind of materials you're going to use, what printing company you're going to use, if you're going to use like tailors or seamstresses, then, you know, that production mode is, like, I feel like the last mode.
Okay. So get a good design. Right. Do your research as far as marketing and understand who you're marketing towards. Maybe do some, like you were saying, how Travis Scott did. They had, like, kind of creating that demand to get an idea of, okay, this shit is going to hit, type of thing. And then put it into production with whatever your budget is.
Right, exactly. Everybody's not the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so
You know, some people you might have to go and get 2 shirts made. You know, you might just have to be you and your man's.
but create a demand, and people have
bit,
people
yeah.
ask like, man, where you get that shirt? Look good. Can I get one?
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
you can.
Yeah, my first batch of XX shirts, I think I did like 10 shirts. It wasn't even nothing crazy, but the demand was just so nuts. It was like people were every time I wore the shirt, ooh, what shirt is that? That's cool. That's dope. What is that? Where'd you get that?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, from there it was you know, even to this day, we still have demand for the older shirts.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, where can we get your shirts?
Well, right now we out of stock.
Oh.
So right now we're out of stock.
I mean,
We sold out basically. You know what I mean? I think I have like 1 or 2 like extra larges. I had to go look, but I don't think it's not. We don't have any big stock right now. But soon it's gonna be a whole new wave. I hope y'all ready for it because it's gonna be dope.
Okay.
It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be a whole new wave for XX.
Okay. Well, y'all heard the man. Make sure you follow him to stay up to date on when he's going to be restocking his XX merchandise, and also for any of his new music. I may or may not know about something that's coming out.
She always trying to give away the secrets, bro. Always trying to give away the
Just definitely
secrets,
stay
man.
tuned. Keep it locked. Follow him on Instagram.
Follow
Make sure.
Jada Michelle for the record.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's up?
Right.
The homie.
Little plug, man.
But definitely, if you guys find things like this helpful, if you're an artist, producer, anyone in the entertainment industry, and you find things like this helpful, you want more information on how you can actually build a brand, definitely hit up For the Record. We have some services that we're offering. And then also be sure to subscribe and comment down below some questions that you have or some things that you want to know to help you take it to the next level with your brand and your craft. Until next time.
Let's get this hip hop. Y'all pay for a show? Make some money. Y'all pay for a fucking show. Let's go. Yeah.
Just that shit I write to. Yeah. Just that shit I write to. Had to sip the drink slow, cause I'm high too. You don't think I love you, cause I like to. You've been all on mine, I hope I've been on your mind too. Whoa, you've been running all through mine, I hope I've been on your mind too. Shorty, I'ma find you when I slide through. Need somebody like you, baby, find you.